Hello everyone, this is Toby with Birdsong Studios. Welcome to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your openness to these messages. So in this video, we will be looking at solar eclipse energies for the signs of Libra, Scorpio, and Sagittarius, starting with Libra. So if you recall, just as a brief recap, we are looking at energies for the solar eclipse in Aries coming up on the 19th and 20th of April. This is a rare hybrid eclipse, which means it is both an annular, which is characterized by the ring of fire that you see in the sky at peak, and a total eclipse, which of course is where it reaches totality. So interestingly enough, these are, as I said, these are very rare. They only happen a few times a century, and after this week's hybrid eclipse, then the next one will be, I believe, in November of 2031, and then after that it won't occur again for another 133 years. So this is a very potent eclipse. So let's see what we have. Oh my gosh, the gathering is coming up a lot. So for you Libra, we have the gathering and soothe your soul, 54 and 55. And I'm finding this really interesting because I've shuffled these cards I know hundreds of times. And I don't remember if it may have been for Virgo, or it may have been for Gemini. It was Gemini. Oh, interesting, another air sign. They had 55 and 56, and you have 55 and 54. So the gathering, something at this, the importance of your soul tribe at this time is going to be highlighted for you, as well as this being a time for you to find what soothes your soul, where you find respite, where you not only are able to rest, but you're able to really take in the beauty all around you, where you feel not only uplifted and supported, but inspired with just the grandiose beauty of nature in particular is really coming through here. We have the dolphin, which brings in a sense of play, but such keen intelligence and also emotional intelligence. The dolphin breathes air but lives in the water, and so the connection between your emotional being as well as the intellect, the mind space, thoughts and ideas is highlighted here as the dolphin takes kind of center stage with this waterfall. So I feel the importance between, look at the purples too, this kind of fuchsia violet color that's in both of these cards. It's interesting to me that it's in the water here, and it's in this wave of light that surrounds the people in the gathering card. See this kind of fuchsia color here, and it's wrapped all around them. So this sense of emotional energy that's wrapping around your soul tribe, this flowing of that current is what I'm trying to say, that current, that emotional current through all of you. It's part of what bonds you together. However, there is, of course, also, as you can see in this card, see the strands of DNA here forming the infinity sign. And I think it's down at the bottom too. Yeah, it's very faint, the bottom of the card as well, but I get this sense of how these bonds have been formed through your DNA. So there's a strong family tie here too, but family tie in past lives as well, and beyond blood relation. But there are messages in your DNA that have been encoded there through the experiences and the wisdom that you've gained in past lifetimes with these same souls. And honestly, I feel like it's these relationships that help create this environment that is so soothing for you, Libra. And that's going to be highlighted for you at this time, or I feel like you're already so aware of it. Of course, Aries is your opposite sign on the zodiac, and the theme for April, and honestly for this eclipse season, because the nodes with this solar eclipse this week, the nodes are switching from Taurus and Scorpio to Aries and Libra. And Aries is the I am sign, and Libra is the sign of balance with others within relationships. So I get a strong sense of this eclipse. I keep getting the word highlighting, and it's so interesting. Highlighting to you your role within these relationships. And how not only they provide this soothing for your soul and help create this sacred space for it, but how you do that for others as well. I'm getting that great sense of that, as we talked about in the April collective reading, micro versus macro, and how intertwined they are. But again, I'm drawn to the dolphin, and this sense of play is so important. Not getting caught too much in, not getting caught too much in the air energy, in the thought space, not being too tied up in your mind space, but allowing in this, allowing your inner child to play. Those things that may seem silly or may seem goofy or you know, it's important for us to have time to just be and to just play and to just enjoy where we are, who we are with, without feeling like we need to do anything, Libra. And it may be that this is what is being highlighted for you, revealed to you at this time with the solar eclipse, because the eclipses do bring in, they can bring in revelations, big changes. It's a very powerful, energetic time. And it's an important, because it's energetically so powerful, it's important to be very intentional with our energy. Not necessarily a time to consciously attempt to manifest, but it is very important for us to be very aware of our energy, where our focus is going, what's taking space in our heart, in our emotions, in our mind. What emotional state are we existing within? And if that does not feel of a high vibration, then where can you transport yourself physically or energetically that is going to be more soothing to your soul? All right, let's look at the tarot this for you, Libra, around the solar eclipse. Solar eclipse energies for Libra, please, Spirit. Thank you. I'm sorry, my voice is a little hoarse. I'm recording this rather early. My voice has not awoken yet. So, okay. Eclipse for Libra, please, Spirit. I feel like it was in that last little group and it did not want to be, wasn't ready to be seen yet. Maybe not. Okay. Solar eclipse energies for, there we go, for Spirit, please. For Libra. Thank you, Spirit. Oh, we had the Six of Pentacles for someone else, too. And just to clarify, you guys, I'm going to take a sip of coffee, but just to clarify, I read intuitively and I channel as well. So if a card comes through reversed, I'm going to intuitively read it, so the meaning that I give may not be the reversed meaning of that card. Okay. Yeah, I do feel like this is going to be a time of transformation for you, but it's important to, and as it did come back out reversed, and that is the way I'm reading it for you today, Libra, that, let's see, give me just a second. I feel like transformation is available to you. Transformation is this is, oops, sorry. This is 16. In the traditional tarot, this would be considered the death card. This is linked to Scorpio. And I feel like you're resisting this. I get this sense, and it links back to the gathering. I get this sense that let me see if I can get my words together here. That there has been a predominance of overgiving for you, and so things have been out of balance for you, Libra, and Libra is all about balance. It's signified or symbolized by the scales of justice. It's and so when we're in a state of constant giving, we're not creating space to receive. And I feel like it comes from a place of feeling like, oh, okay, this goes back to what I was saying before with that it's not necessary for us to always be doing something, that we can just be, that just being is very important, but now it feels like it's coming back around to how we feel about ourselves and our self-value, that there is a link to what we do and what we put out into the world in a physical sense, or what we do for others, caretaking even. And that's where our value comes from. I'm getting that is what's going on in the thought space. And this is, again, linking back to the reason why the dolphin is here, to encourage us to play, to encourage us to be, and to allow ourselves to be free in those moments, not feel restricted by our schedules. I'm hearing our to-do lists, or feeling as if we have no value if we are not producing something. that our value is linked to accomplishments and goals that we have met, money we've earned even. And this is what's blocking this is what's keeping us from moving forward with this transformation that's wanting to come in for you at this time. I almost feel like the brake is on in this figure's wheelchair that she's sitting in. The Six of Pentacles, this is the Six of Pentacles. I'm not sure that I said that. The Six of, oh look, and it's tied to number 20, which is, I think that's the Wheel of Fortune, isn't it? So yeah, this sense of always giving and not allowing ourselves to receive, because to be in a receiving mode requires a bit of surrender. It requires a bit of quiet. It requires a bit of stillness, right? We have to kind of sit and wait a bit and allow others to come to us as much as we reach towards them, just as she's doing in this card. Ooh, and I'm feeling really hot all of a sudden. I feel like that makes someone a little bit anxious out there. But that recognition is so important of the balance and our value in just being who we are, allowing others to give to us in whatever form that takes, whether it's monetarily or whether it's with assistance or give to us emotionally. And this is what brings this transformation, and it's a transformation in our beliefs around our self-value. And again, this ties back to what we talked about regarding the nodes and how the nodes are now switching to Aries and Libra, and the symbolism of that, the energy is going to be very much focused on things that we are going to be seeing coming up for us, themes around the micro versus the macro, the individual versus the collective, you versus you as an individual versus you within the relationship, or the relationship as a whole. And it's not versus as in conflict, it's versus as in the polarity, recognizing that they're two sides of the same coin, but finding balance in that coin so that the two sides can be equal. This is the transformation that wants to come in for you during this solar eclipse, Libra, is this transformation of your self-worth and recognizing that you have value in the balancing. You have value on your own without having to do anything at all, just as you are. And allowing that to help balance these relationships around you and your relationship with yourself, your relationship with receiving. And this may come through as, because the eclipse bring through potentially some sudden changes or revelations. It may be something that is just like that, and the recognition comes to you, whether it's something in your external world or just this epiphany internally. But I feel like it is going to be coming suddenly with this transformation card here. I'll show this to you because it's time. See how he's holding the hourglass, and that's what's indicated here too, the Wheel of Fortune, the number 20. Okay, all right, I'm going to leave it there, Libra. I hope this was helpful for you. We're going to do some energetic clearing here, and then we will look at Messages for Scorpio for the solar eclipse. Shuffle these a couple of times. Alright, thanks for bearing with me. My fingers don't seem to be quite awake yet either. How are you guys today? Again, I thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your openness to these messages. And as always, please, if you feel called to do so, please like, share, subscribe to the channel so you're notified when new videos come out. And if you have, I'd love to hear how these resonate for you. So please leave me a comment, send me an email. My email address is in the description box below. As well, if you would like a personal reading, that information is also listed below. So let's look at, I'm just recognizing now how quiet things felt in the last reading. For Libra. So Libra, I'm really getting a sense that there's quite a bit of stillness around you. And almost maybe too much stillness, that being in your head. So making sure you're taking time to play. Okay. So Scorpio, let's look at messages for Scorpio around the solar eclipse, please, Spirit. Whoops. Messages for Scorpio, please, Spirit, around the energies of the solar eclipse. Certainly I'm feeling a more an energetic energy, and my left ear just popped. So what do you need to be listening for, Scorpio? Oh wow. All right. Scorpio, messages for Scorpio, please. I believe there's an aspect with Pluto in this eclipse as well. So it is very likely that, Scorpio, you're going to feel the effects of this eclipse rather strongly. We'll see what comes through. Pluto, of course, is one of your ruling signs, and it is the sign of transformation. So to have that aspecting this eclipse for you, Scorpio, there could be some pretty major transformations or revelations that come through with this eclipse. So we have the Spirit Wolf, card number 25, and then Honesty at the Edge of Quiet, card number 28. Yes, I would say the Spirit Wolf, we have certainty of trust. That is trust in oneself. Certainly trust in your guides as well, but with this lone wolf energy, I get this trust. Oh, and look at that. It has an eclipse on the card. It's a lunar eclipse, but it does have an eclipse on the card. Very interesting. I'm not sure when the lunar eclipse is. I would say that there is an indication here of the importance of the lunar eclipse. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's something from the lunar eclipse in Scorpio last year, and I cannot recall when that was. It would have been in around May of last year. So something about the eclipse in Scorpio last year. Something about that time frame that's going to be linked to this time frame as well. So you may want to think back about what occurred in your life during that time frame. But this trust in oneself and in the path that you're forging for yourself, there is a sense, certainly, look at how much white there is in this card, and how the wolf is reflecting the white in the honesty at the edge of quiet. And that's the honesty that comes through when we give ourselves the space and the stillness to really listen, to really hear. And remember, my left ear popped. So what do you, I feel like there's a bit of blocking of that, that stillness and that quiet needed to hear, to discern, to learn what it is that is wanting to be revealed to you at this time. And I almost get that sense with these dragonflies flying around the wolf, that there's something that Spirit wants to bring through to you, and it is requiring that you create some stillness and some quiet. And if it's in a forest somewhere, or if it's in your own home, but allowing for that truth that wants to be revealed to come to you. Oh my gosh, and I'm getting a lot of pressure in my third eye. Yeah, you are already aware of this, Scorpio, but I feel like you're staying busy, and that I'm getting this sense, a little bit of anxiety or fear around, not only because it's two things, you know that there's a truth there, and you're a bit fearful of what that truth is. And so giving yourself some grace and some compassion, Scorpio, because it's not an easy path to walk that this wolf is on, that you are on. It's not easy to look deeply within oneself and come face to face with this truth. But what happens on the other side of it is this beautiful integration of the light and shadow within you, and that feels very much indicated here too. We have a very bright card and then a darker card. I just want to hold these two up together. Look at how beautiful that wolf is. And then look at all the light that is around the figure in the honesty card. Because she's held in light, you're held in light. And you may feel like you're in the darkness, but as a Scorpio, I'm sure you have a bit of comfort there, and maybe that's what's causing a bit of discomfort at this time, that it's this, we're going to a deeper level of truth. And certainly, as I mentioned before, with Pluto having an aspect to this eclipse, there is that transformational quality about this eclipse for you, Scorpio. And so I feel that although there's a lot of hesitation to listen to what it is that wants to come through, once you do, and once that is integrated, and I don't feel like it's going to be a lengthy process for you because you've already done so much of this work, Scorpio. But once you do that, there's going to be a sense of lightness, like as in of energy. But again, this recognition that you are held in the light, you are held by your guides, and you are protected through this process. Really beautiful opportunity and potential for you to integrate parts of you that you have not, I'm hearing, witnessed before. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden my fingers didn't want to work. That you have not witnessed previously. So there's a beauty in that, and hearing a getting to know oneself again. And I know with this lone wolf, I'm getting this, obviously, this sense that you've been on this path alone. And I will just offer this reminder that you're never truly alone, that your guides are always with you. But also, The solitude of this path, I am being guided to tell you, is temporary. That there are points in time in our lives and on our journey when it's necessary for us to have more solitude than social time. But when we emerge from this chapter, it's with this newfound, again, sense of self. And so that certainty and that energy helps to magnetize in, to bring in the connections that are going to be most supportive of us for the next chapter. And we have the Page of Cups. And then we have the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords was reversed. Interesting. I think I got who had the Knight of Swords? Was it Virgo? Or was it Gemini? Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, I think it was Cancer. Another water sign. So, and I do feel like it needs to be in the reverse for you, because I get this sense of, yeah, this process is going to bring about a new emotional experience for you, and that's indicated in this Page of Cups. This sense of lightness and joy that I was referring back to, or referring to in the Honesty at the Edge of Quiet. It can be a new love interest as well with this offering of the cup. But it's also connected to your inner child. And just as I talked about with Libra, here we have the dolphin represented again. There's a big sense of needing to play, of balancing out our thought space with our playfulness and our understanding how play helps to bolster our emotional state, helps to cleanse and clear our emotional body. And that lightness, that lightheartedness, and I'm drawn to the chirps that a dolphin makes, and connecting it to singing. See how the dolphin, he actually has a big smile on his face, but I think I'm getting a sense of a dolphin song as well. And so, singing is something that automatically raises our vibration. And so there's a sense of, maybe that resonates for a particular person out there, but that feels important as well. But with it, when we are, as I talked about with this integration of this honesty that will be coming through with the solar eclipse, this Knight of Swords came through reversed, and I feel like, as with the earlier sign, that this is a bit of a putting down of this sword of defense. See how the Knight, now traditionally the Knight of Swords is, he's moving forward with a bright new idea, with a new thought, with a decision, with moving forward with a drive and a dedication to that purpose. But I'm also getting for you, and since it came out reversed, I'm getting this sense of putting that sword down and not being in a defensive state. And that might be a bit of self-protection when in certain circumstances or situations. But this integration that's coming through with the knowledge and the wisdom, this honesty that's coming through around the solar eclipse, is going to allow you to approach relationships or circumstances or situations from this new emotional place, and one that is more lighthearted, and one that will allow you to put away your sword. You don't get rid of it, because you want to be able to maintain boundaries, but you're not moving forward in a defensive position. You're moving into a position of assuredness. And so it's not necessary to enter with the sword. I get this certainty that comes through this honesty, a certainty of being able to discern for yourself when or where a boundary needs to be placed, and a certainty of being able to uphold that yourself, this again is this certainty of trust, trusting in oneself, trusting in one's intuition, one's discernment, and that allows you a sense of freedom as you're moving into new spaces, new relationships, new situations. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, Scorpio. I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this resonated. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And we are going to move into Sagittarius here. Okay. What do we have for the sign of Sagittarius, please, Spirit? Sagittarius around the solar eclipse in Aries. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, Sag. I appreciate your time and your attention, and of course your openness to these messages. Alright, we'll get 2 from the Life Soul Vision Oracle by Romy Wyser, and then we'll get started. See what's coming through for Sagittarius around the solar eclipse in Aries. Oh wow, okay, 45 and 52. Casting out constellations. This is the way, this is the work, and spirals of love and grief. Okay, Sag. So in around the solar eclipse, at this time, we have this a recognition of the cycles in life. And the path that we're on. Both cards, wow, they both have this archway and spiral appearance within it. It's very interesting, and it's speaking to the spirals of learning and experience within our life. You know how, especially in the healing process, and I'm feeling this strongly for you, this is a reflection or a reminder of the experiences along the healing journey and the cycle of a healing journey, and how it is a spiral. It's a spiral. Life is a spiral of love and grief, and sometimes they overlap one another, but in the healing journey it is a spiral in which it seems like we heal from a situation or a wound, but at some point in the future there's a revisitation to it, but it's not from the same energetic frequency. We have risen in energetic frequency, and so we're seeing that same situation, that same trauma or wound from a higher viewpoint. And this is the way, this is the work, this is the ascension and awakening to how these have impacted us, and how at the same time the knowledge and the wisdom that's gained through that process. And this is that rising of frequency and rising of the perspective, being able to in gradual stages and gradual rising of this spiral of this healing process, getting a little bit further and further with each leveling up from those wounds, from those traumas, not only in our story, so that we are not so embedded and they are not so embedded in our story of who we are and of our experience, but seeing, but just also getting, moving away from the attachment to it, moving further into sovereignty, moving into empowerment, moving into this, again, higher perspective where we're able to see, to witness, to integrate the learning that's come through that experience, not only of the wounding, but then of the healing journey after it. And with it comes these spirals of love and grief, this love and acceptance for oneself, compassion for oneself, forgiveness for oneself, and then the grieving of the you that experienced those wounds, that trauma. I'm also getting the word betrayal. So allowing yourself space to grieve for that person, for that Sagittarius, but also recognize who you are now and the changes that have happened within you in this healing journey, and that in this process you are then also creating your future. See the transformation, the butterflies of transformation here all along this path. So with each step in healing, you are laying down another brick that comes from a healed place. And so this is going to bring forth different experiences in your future, in your life in general going forward. Whoops, wrong way. And it's actually going to allow you to see the full spectrum of life, to experience it. And there's that fire energy that is with us now in Aries season, but always with you, Sagittarius, as a fire sign. Okay, so let's see what the tarot wants to bring through for you, Sagittarius. I know it can be a difficult experience, this healing journey. It is hard. It takes courage. It takes persistence. It takes resilience. It takes determination. It takes surrender. Determination and surrender in equal amounts. And so it's not for everyone. I am being guided to recognize the warrior within you in undergoing this path, this process, and a recognition of how you deserve that, the time and effort that you are deserving of, the time and effort that you are putting into this process. Your worthiness. Oh, my fingers don't want to work. Oh, these cards are just a touch too big. Oh, they don't want to shuffle. Interesting. Okay, Sagittarius, what's that all about? All right. We have awakening on the bottom of the deck. I feel like that's what's coming for you. And there could certainly be something that comes through at this time that brings some clarity to this process for you too. There's a sense of the Wheel of Fortune that in this card, the timing aspect, that this is divinely timed, that there's a reason why you are on this point in your path at this exact time. And I definitely get this sense of there's something on the other side of this eclipse. There's some clarity that's coming through during this eclipse that's going to help you with this process. And I feel like there's something on the other side of it. And because I'm getting this sense of this clock moving off of your pathway, and then the sun is behind it. But it's not quite time for you to be able to, I know you can't see it yet, but that is divinely timed as well. Because there's still a little bit more that needs to be done here, but you're almost to that point of the sun. Okay, and we have the King of Swords reversed. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. Well, there's something that you've been juggling for sure. And with this king looks so bored. I don't think I've ever seen a King of Swords look so bored. Look at this. Look at how bored he looks. How detached, how uninterested. Now, he did come out reversed. Yeah, is there something that you're weighing? Oh, okay. Okay, so this is, linking back to what I just said about that brief vision I had about the sun on the other side of this wheel. Once the wheel moves off of in divine timing, this wheel is going to move a bit off of you, directly in front of you. Let's see if I can talk. And then more light will be shown upon your path, and the sun will become clear. So this, a sense of lightness comes through. But I feel you sense that. Oh, hang on just a second. I had it and then it is fading away. That's where this sense of detachment, I think you're getting, what am I trying to say here? There's this sense of boredom in this process, and you feel like you need to, there's also this sense of needing to make a decision, or maybe you're considering ending this journey, or giving up on this healing journey because of this sense of detachment. But what is coming through is that it's not time for you to make any sort of decision, that you are on the right path. Oh, it's not that you want to change the path, but you're feeling as if maybe you have made wrong decisions in the past. This king, I feel like you need to give yourself a little bit more time, Sag. That's what this is all speaking to. That what is going, that, because look, okay, since I can't seem to get my words together here, I'm sorry. Look at how he's juggling, and the Two of Pentacles, they're clocks. This is all related to divine timing, and it may feel like you are in this point of suspended animation. That's what I'm trying to say. Suspended animation. This sense of boredom, this sense of not being able to make a decision. But although you are in this void space, this in-between space, you're meant to be there at this time, because there is something that is going to be revealed to you. And it may be very well this sun on the other side of the eclipse. Okay? That we need to get through this eclipse window and then things will start to move for you again. But to allow yourself to just be in this moment, to just be in it as it is, and when it is time to make a decision, the energy will have shifted and you will feel, this is where this king gets turned around. You will not feel detached. You will not feel uninterested. You will not feel bored anymore. You will be invested in this path, and any decisions that come or are revealed to you at that point. And you will be in a space in which you are able to make a decision in I'm hearing in a brief amount of time, but it'll be from a place of discernment and connection to your intuition and connection to your guides, connection to yourself, your higher self. But I'm getting, and that it's funny that I wasn't able to get my words out, because it definitely feels as if it's just this moment of pause. Now, I will also bring a reminder through that Mercury retrograde, we are in the shadow period, and Mercury goes officially retrograde on the 21st, the day after the eclipse. So sometimes in the in the shadow period, the effects of the retrograder can be even stronger than during the retrograde, or actually as we build up to it going retrograde. So it may be that you're feeling the energy of that Mercury retrograde coming in, and once the eclipse moves through, then things are going to smooth out for you, and the energy will lift a bit, and you will not feel as if you're in this place of suspended animation quite as much. But either way, allow yourself to be in that space as it is, because it is divinely guided. It is in divine timing. There is a reason for you to be here. And in this moment of pause, there is something that's going to be revealed to you that otherwise you may have missed on the path. So, okay. I hope this was helpful. I'm going to end it there, and then we will pick up in the next video with Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces to wrap up the solar eclipse readings. I hope you guys find these helpful. Please be sure to like and comment and share if you feel called to do so. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're notified when the next video is uploaded. Again, if you'd like a personal reading, my information is in the description box below, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.